Yeah, hello everyone. So this session is basically for a Stibo MDM training. So myself, Sujit Patel, and I am already delivering training for Informatica MDM from 2016. Many of you know, and now we want to add our additional kind of technology to our umbrella, and one of them is Stibo MDM. And apart from that, we are going to add more MDM tools and technology very soon. So you will have a kind of most of the MDM tools and technology at one place. So we are known for kind of MDM one-stop solution. Invent model is known for MDM one-stop solution. So we want to bring most of the MDM's tools and technology like Stibo, Reltio, Informatica, Atacama, Proficient all. So this all is going to come very soon. So this session is basically for Stibo MDM. And for this, we have a trainer, Rahul, who will basically guide us, help us, and he will deliver the training. So he have already the extensive experience on project executions, implementation, and all. And also, he's associated with us from long time on the corporate training and retail training. So now let's take his help, and he will explain about this demo session of a Stibo FDM, like course content and other details. So let's hear something from Rahul. Rahul, it's to you. You can start.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Yeah, with that said, so just welcome to the Stibo MDM demo session that I'm giving you today. So just before that, so my name is Rahul. I'm from Invent Model, working as a solution architect here. And I have overall 12 plus years of experience, working on several different projects. So currently I'm working for one of the top MNCs at the moment. And at the same time, I'm helping you with the Stibo MDM training. Okay. So today in the training module, so what we are going to offer is, so we are offering, directly connecting with the trainer. The first point I'm talking about. So you have access to the trainer that you can connect with anytime after the training completions. And we also provide you something like if you want to attend any other batches after your completion of the first batch. So we also have the flexibility to join multiple batches at the same time. And we'll cover, most of the Stibo important modules that we are going to talk about, when I talk about the course content. So I'll talk about this point. And of course, we'll give 200 plus real-time project scenarios. Okay, in a real-time projects, I'll pick real-time project scenarios while giving you the training. And also I'll cover one of the, any one real-time projects that will be included in the training. Okay, and I'll go from scratch, very basic, and to the advanced topics that will be training to, and also all the topics related to installations, development, testing, and support that will be covered in this training. And other than that, we also have separate and dedicated classes for resume preparation, which is very important. Okay, and the interview preparation where we provide you the scenario based questions and interview questions, how you can answer, how you talk in the interviews, as well as the job support. So it's been long time we are dealing with multiple MNCs for the Stibo jobs. So we do have the references as well. So with the working experience I do have many people working in a several different MNCs where I can, share some references for your job after, post completion of the training. Okay. So now we'll talk about, something about MDM, and then now we'll talk about Stibo MDM. Okay. Okay. So, what is some master data management? In today's world, it's a data-driven world, like where businesses handles thousands of products, suppliers, customers across multiple systems, like you can say ERP, CRM, and many more. So keeping this data very much accurate, synchronized, and trustworthy is a very big challenge to any of the organization. That's exactly what Stibo STEP MDM is doing and helping clients. So master data management, it's all about creating a single and trusted and consistent versions in general, and to solve the critical businesses data. So which is nothing but the single source of the truth. Okay. So instead of scattered, duplicate, and inconsistent data across the multiple systems, so master data management is pretty much bring all the data together, cleans and enriches the data and share it with all the integrated or connected applications. Okay, in short, so MDM is nothing but the heart of data governance for any of the organizations. So now, why Stibo? Of course, the question rises, we do have multiple MDM applications. Now, when the question comes, why Stibo? So Stibo Systems is one of the leading MDM platforms trusted by many clients. Okay, it's been trusted by top, brands like Adidas, Sony, McDonald's, Nestle, and many more. Okay, the core product is called Stibo STEP. What makes in general Stibo so different is it's a multi-domain capable application. Okay, it does not just manage the product data, but also customer, supplier, asset, and locations data and reference data as well, all within a single application, which is Stibo. Okay, it provides the centralized data repository and you can say powerful workflow and governance features and very user-friendly interface for business teams that I'll show you. And it has a very strong integration capabilities where a step directly can connect to the ERP, it's like SAP, Salesforce, and any other e-commerce systems. Okay. And these are a few clients. You can say just 10 to 15% clients that's directly, connected with the Stibo, and there are many more. And so these are the services, service companies which are helping Stibo systems to, take some of their projects from Stibo. Okay, and you can see the most, the MNCs like Cognizant, Accenture, Infosys, and IBM. So you can also, there is also like, Capgemini, TCS, and you can just name it. So most of the MNCs has multiple Stibo projects at the moment. So these are few, and there are many more, MNC or services and consultancy companies helping Stibo systems to take some of their projects and help clients. Okay, so this is across the world. Okay, not only India. So this is Nexer and few other companies which are Indian based, Sweden based, Europe and US based as well. Okay. Okay. Now, Stibo, the multi-domain. So why do we call it as a multi-domain platform? So this is one of the strongest areas in the Stibo. Like while many tools only focus on the product information or in a specific area, but Stibo goes beyond and it's a multi-domain platform where you can see the product details, like all the details about products, packaging, pricing, images can be handled. Okay, and also if you talk about customers, all the customer profiles, segment preferences, organizational data, all the orders, customer data, everything can be managed in the Stibo step. And you can say the supplier, it's very much for you can say the vendors management, supplier contracts, everything can be managed. And the location, it stores the warehouses locations, customer locations, and it also supports DAM, data asset management, where you can manage the assets physically as well as digitally in the multi-domain, or you can say in the Stibo step. Okay, having all these domains in one platform means you get, it's like, you're getting a 360-degree view of the business. So you can, like when you look at the product, okay, you also see which supplier provides this product, which customer buys it, which store, nothing but the plant, sells it at one place. Okay, so this is just one of the landscape of the Stibo. Okay, you can say one of the small architecture where I just want to show you. You can see this left side of the picture says where the source systems, it's completely okay. This is the Stibo systems acts as the backbone for all business data. Okay, these are, you can say, it's like data sources where products, customers, suppliers, employees, so all coming from the different source systems, and these are acting as middlewares which integrate step with the source systems. Okay, and help streamlining the information into one place. Okay, and the right side, and you can say this is a Stibo step. Okay, it's a multi-domain and low code and native, MDM systems designed to power. You can, where you can manage all your data that we were talking about. Okay, and the right side is nothing but the data flows, the downstream systems, you can say, where you can send the clean data which has been enriched from the Stibo system to be sent to the downstream systems. And you can say it for a marketing or e-commerce website, just to ensure it works with one consistent, reliable, and a single source of the truth. So the Stibo system supports both on-prem and SaaS. With that said, on-prem is going to end by the end of 2027. So Stibo is planning to move all their customers to the SaaS, to their cloud. So they are planning to decommission the on-prem by the end of 2027. Okay, so you can also expect most of the migration projects is upcoming. So you can also expect so many hirings in next 1 or 2 years. Okay, so we'll also cover how Stibo Step application works in the on-prem, what is the roles and responsibilities, what is the benefits of being on-prem and being on SaaS. Okay, I'll show you each and everything from the on-prem perspective as well as the SaaS and the differences and what Stibo supports in terms of business for on-prem customers as well as the SaaS cloud customers. Okay. So the step in general has two things. Okay, step offer two applications. So one is web-based and one is application-based. The first one is the workbench. Okay, the workbench is nothing but very specific to the technical users, the people who has a technical knowledge, and so they will offer to use the workbench. Let's say the workbench is purely for developers, architects, whosoever from the technical perspective. At the same time, if the people who are interested in the technical challenges, technical things, they can also use the workbench. So this is just for very purely for the development purpose. Okay, and the second one, user interface. So user interface is nothing but the web UI in the Stibo. So people call it as a web UI or the portal. um, it's a friendly user interface, so where the business users or the suppliers, anybody can use it, okay, without having any technical knowledge. So it's just that very friendly user interface. The people who is not able to understand the workbench, so they can use the web UI. So user interface is the replica of what we have in the workbench. Okay. So in the training classes, we'll go in depth discussions about the workbench and user interface. For example, the workbench view, I'll show you both workbench as well as the web UI view. So the first one is the workbench. So this is purely for technical things where you can perform all the developments, where you can maintain all the data models, configure the integrations, configure the hierarchies, classifications, whatnot, just name it. So this is where you'll be working when I talk about the Stibo MDM. Okay, this is how it looks like, the workbench. Okay, so you'll have to launch this workbench every time when you plan to work on Stibo MDM. Okay, so they have something like tree tab where you can manage all your hierarchies of the source data hierarchies, as well as the alternate classifications, collections, and all the import export configurations. Okay, so advanced search is the advanced search where you can add multiple conditions or multiple filters to get the accurate search. A background processors is nothing but the process which are running behind the system. Okay, so you can see the system setup tab. So system setup tab is a very core component in the Stibo step. Okay, so where you can develop all the integrations, configure all the data model, everything here in this tab. So that is very much specific to development. And the bookmarks is nothing but if you want to access anything directly, rather than moving here and there, you can just bookmark or save the notes directly here. And the step workflows, so you can see all the step workflows here in the step workflow tab. So these are called tabs. And we also have the toolbar where you can see some, if you want to import or export the data, you'll be using the file option. And the same for edit, view, and navigate. So there are few other functionalities that you can see it here. Okay, and we have something called context. So multilingual system, like you can say, you can manage the data across any context. Like date, you can context is nothing but, so it's India, you can manage the data for India separately, and Europe content region separately, and for US and for any other regions. So that is called context here. We will discuss more about this in the training session. And so we have something called workspaces, main and approved workspaces. We have few options called view mode. Okay, where you'll have multiple view mode to see the historical data, normal data, and approval data, everything. And we have some navigation back, forward, and reload the step workbench when you get stuck. And this is the normal search, where you can simply enter the ID of the product or material number, anything that you have. So this is a single search and this is the advanced search. Okay. And this is all about web UI. So we configure everything that you see here in the tree tab. Okay. So the hierarchies that has been displaying here, so can also be added in the web UI. So web UI is, in a simpler words, it's a customized UI. So you can bring whatever you want from this workbench and display it here. You can also restrict users to view the data. Okay, and the web UI is purely for the viewing and some data, product data updations. Okay, you cannot do any developments or you cannot configure anything in the web UI. It's purely for business user. So whatever has been developed and configured can be displayed in the UI. You can show all the hierarchies, workflows. You can let users to import the data in a single click, export the data, and let the users to approve the data, review the data, enrich the data. So all these activities can be done in the web UI. Okay. So what we cover in the course in the upcoming classes. So we are going to cover the fundamentals of Stibo STEP. So understanding the core concepts of Stibo STEP MDM, and I'll also explain the different styles of different MDM styles, and can be used, accordingly while implementing this solutions. Okay, learn about more applications, benefits and applications of MDM across different industries, like retail, manufacturing, automobile, food industries, and obviously navigation between the step workbench and web UI. What is the differences between these two, and also explore the data domain supported by the Stibo MDM. I'll show you how we can configure the product data, suppliers, customers. Okay. And obviously Workbench So you'll start with the basic, and by the end of the course, you'll be very much, a confident how the uses of the workbench and the navigations in the step workbench. So these are the things that just I discussed. Okay. Understanding of the step workbench, components, navigations, bookmarks, and working with the tree tab, system tab, workflows. Okay, and the data modeling, which is a very important, and you can say the backbone of the step. Okay, where we can define and manage the attributes. I'll show you how to create the attributes and attribute groups, and how to organize the attribute groups and configure the data model from the scratch, and how we link the products, and how we create the hierarchies based on the data models, creation of items, entities, and object types in MDM. And we also have the inheritance model in Stibo STEP MDM, which that supports. Okay, on the attribute level, I'll also explain the inheritance concepts of the on the attributes. Okay, and how you can link the attributes to the products. Okay, so that you can see the product information. And the next thing is hierarchies and classifications. So hierarchies and classifications is very, of course, very important for any organizations. So we can build the hierarchies based on the websites, as clients has, and these are like the classifications. So instead we have two kinds of hierarchies. So I'll explain you what is alternate and classification, and blue folder classifications. Okay, in blue folder classifications we'll be holding the raw data, and alternate classifications, it's nothing but the alternate one where you can link the multiple products in a different classifications. Okay, and I'll also show you how we can create and maintain different hierarchies for each product group, and how you can create multiple level hierarchies, and of course this default or user predefined values. So list of values is nothing but the predefined values that we have an option to define and to maintain the data quality in the, or you can say on the product. Okay, and how you can link the LOV to the attributes. Okay, and understanding of the blue folders, yellow folders in real. Okay, and the data governance and the quality. So to handle the data governance and quality, we also have some options in the Stibo step. Okay, where you'll be working on the business rules, and placing those business rules in the imports or inbound integrations or the workflows for the validation purpose, just to ensure the data accuracy. Okay, now the workflows and process automation. So of course Stibo offers a very flexible workflows to automate the process, which is very very likely, and very much attracted to any clients. Okay, it's very simple as well. So I'll take you to all the configuration, and I'll show you how to create the workflows, how we can automate the process in real time. Okay, how we can trigger the products, and notify the users on the products or the deadlines, you can say, and setting up the approval process, and you can say to ensure control data modification. So you can also restrict the user to some extent. Okay, based on the user logging in. Okay, and I'll also show you some of the user management and security things, where you'll be creating the users, new users, and setting up the roles and permissions, defining the roles, and control the access based on the roles and the user groups that they are in. And you also have define the action set, which is users and setup actions. So we have something called users and setup actions. So users is nothing but where you'll be completely restricting them to use only tree tab, and setup actions is completely for setup tab, so system setup tab. So this is for the development core components, and this is for the hierarchies and other blue folders that we have. So you can also control both of them. and very common. So data loads and data extract, you can say. I'll show you how to load the data in step, and be it file based or API based, and set up export jobs. You can also schedule the export jobs, schedule the import jobs, and also save and export the configurations, and also understanding of how outbound and inbound data flows. So inbound is nothing but, so it is like a automated configuration. So to integrate any of the source system, you need something called inbound process, and to configure any downstream system integration, you need outbound process. Okay, so in the training, I'll show you the steps to configure inbound integration, and what all required to configure the inbound integration, to mapping the source data to the step, also how you can validate the inbound data, and also troubleshooting the common issues. Like, let's say if you're loading some lakhs of data, lakhs of products in a files, and what if any of the file or any of the product gets failed to load, and how you can troubleshoot, how you identify, how you can load it back in the picture. Okay, and also the same thing goes with the outbound integrations. I'll show you the configuring, how we can configure the outbound integrations, and how you can set up the schedules, when to export or when to trigger automatically, and how to send, how you map the data, what to send to the downstreams. Okay, so the integration considerations is nothing but it comes with inbound or outbound data flows. I'll show you more about how you can handle the data transformations, and some of the enrichment step that we have. Okay, we also have some new feature in the gateway integrations. I'll talk about it. So it is to integrate with the external system, and call the external systems through APIs. So which is nothing but integrations and APIs. So we'll be connecting with the gateway integrations using the REST APIs. Okay, that will be discussed again. So we also have data versioning and auditing. So auditing will be a very rare rare scenario. So data versioning, you will have. I'll show you how you can track the historical changes, how you can maintain the historical changes, how you can roll back or revert to the previous historical changes on the product. Okay, and also I was talking about the context, which is nothing but the multi-language support. So I'll show you how to create a context, how to define dimension points, and define attributes on the dimension points. Okay, and we also have options. This is optional, where you can create, the KPIs using the product data. So this can be done in the web UI. So step object management and editing. So obviously I'll show you how you can create the products, create the entities, attributes. So everything in the step is called as object. Okay, so I'll show you from scratch how you can create, edit, and delete the objects, and how to work with object types, and what are super types and object instances. And I'll show you approval workflows, ownerships, and all. And this is all about the assets, how you can link a image to a product, how you can manage, and how you can manage the assets, metadata. So all these things can also be covered. And we also have entity and the product management. So other than the products, so its entities is mainly used for the customer master data use cases. So I'll show you how you can manage the entities and entity hierarchies. So I was talking about the advanced search, so where you can, narrow down the search by adding many filters and adding some conditions using search operators. We also have wildcard search and exclusion search, so everything is there. At the same time, in the advanced search, we also have export option, save option. You can also perform the bulk updates. Okay. So system administration. So this is a add-on or extra thing that we are covering on the back part of the Stibo step. I'll show you the system setup and administration of the Stibo step, how you can in while working on the real-time projects, you'll get some issues, how you can fix it, how you can log into the administration portal, how you can manage the background processes. So all these things will be covered. Okay, and so this web UI is nothing but the one I was discussing about the web user customer user interface. I'll show you how you can set up the search options, how you set up the dashboards, widgets, navigations, workflows, and validations in the web UI. And you can also restrict the role-based access in the web UI. And you can also configure imports, exports, and the data visualization reports, and so multi-language web UI admin panel and setup options. So everything will be covered in the upcoming sessions. Okay, and I'm giving you some of the extra add-ons which cannot be covered by any of the other training companies or whosoever it is. So but we are giving you some extra add-ons like how we can use Stibo Jira portal. Okay, when to use it, how to deal with the support team. Okay, some techniques will be provided. Okay, shortcuts or techniques or whatever you call. Okay, and Stibo certification exam preparation content. So throughout the course, I'll be covering. So the whatever I speak, whatever I provide you in the training. So it all helps directly with the Stibo certification exam. If you are very much focused with the training, then obviously the topics I cover and the content I speak will by default cover the Stibo certification exam questions. For example, data model, workflows, fundamentals, and everything. And I'll also talk about the latest release and features. Okay. So every quarter Stibo releases a new features. I'll show you where you can see the latest releases, how you can figure out latest features. Okay, and also I'll help you with the self-service portal. So this is a new feature that is recently released for the SaaS customers by Stibo, and I'll also help you showing the self-service portal and how we can make use of it. Okay, so this is all about the Stibo, course content. So as we, move ahead in the upcoming sessions, I will, I will let you explore most of the core components of the Stibo and in a real-time projects. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, thanks, Rahul. Thanks for the beautiful kind of intro about the Stibo MDM. So I would like to have some questions on behalf of our student.
Okay.
So first question is, as we have two separate kind of application, one is on-premises, one is cloud SaaS. So
Mhm.
how much difference you see in between these two applications?
So there are two things. So on-prem has a very less access. So on-prem is nothing but all the infrastructure has been controlled by the organization itself, and Stibo don't offer much services to the on-prem. As I said, so there are something called self-service portal, and there is Stibo recently released some AI components as well. So that will be supported only on the SaaS-based versions. Okay, even the self-service portal, which is very advanced, is provided to the SaaS customers only, but not on-prem. So similarly, there are many differences in terms of the features. So on-prem will have every time the on-prem customers will have some restricted and minimum licenses, but SaaS will have more licenses. And in on-prem projects, you'll have all the control on the infrastructure. So you'll have option to see what is happening behind. You can log into the servers and see how we are placing the files, how the Stibo placing the files in the servers, and how the downstream systems is utilizing it. But in self-service portal, it's all managed by the SaaS itself, by Stibo supports itself. In on-prem, let's say if any of the application is down, let's say production or the QA application is down, okay, and that should be handled by the organization itself. Stibo don't support. Okay, but for the SaaS, so there is no such scenarios. So application will never go down, even if it goes down. So Stibo support, they'll take care of the application. They will take the responsibility. They will bring the application back in a matter of few seconds, no, few minutes. So it's all depends. Like on-prem is completely responsible for customers, and SaaS is completely responsible by the Stibo support team.
Yeah, thanks, Rahul. Thank you very much. So, are we going to cover on-premises part also in this training, or only the
Yeah,
SaaS?
I'll cover both on-prem as well as SaaS.
Okay, okay, got it. Thanks. And if we talk about the migration part, so do
Mhm.
we have inbuilt feature in the tool for migration from dev to PV and all, or how we are doing?
Yeah, we also have a migration, like let's say if you're talking about data migration, like application to different application, we do have options, something called change packages. That is a new feature added by the Stibo system. So where we can export the data directly and save at one place. So I'll cover all the data migration process as well as the, go live, how you can prepare for a go live, how you can export the data. So both will be covered.
Okay, great, great. Thank you very much. And one more question I would like to ask. In other MDM tool, like if we talk about Informatica, especially in the on-premises, so that tool don't have capability for bringing the data into MDM. Like it does not have much capability on the ETL side, basically. So if you want
Mm-hmm.
to integrate with the upper streams to bring the data,
Mm-hmm.
so we had a dependency that we had to use the ETL, and through that we had to
Okay.
clean the data, maintain the data quality, and then bring the data in MDM for mastering it. So in a Stibo, if you talk about the Stibo, so if we are talking about upper stream system, so how much capable this application is to bring data directly in a Stibo, or do we have dependency of ETL applications as well in the Stibo projects?
Yeah, so the good question, let's say it depends on the clients again. So that's what source systems they are using. Let's say if they are using Salesforce, so Stibo has introduced a Salesforce connector where they doesn't need even any ETL tool in between. They can directly interact, they can directly connect with the Stibo systems as well as the AWS. If you talk about AWS, we have a direct plugin as well as for the Azure. Okay, if these doesn't support by the client systems, then we also support the REST APIs, REST Direct. Okay, so based on what client applications, if they are using SAP, then again, so of course, SAP connector is in progress by the Stibo systems. But for SAP, so there are two things. Either we can use ETL or Stibo is providing some flexible option where they can place the file in the hot folders and Stibo will consume it directly. The same goes for the downstream systems as well. If the client is expecting the JSON file, we have option to generate the JSON and XML and Excel .txt, so just whatever the formats it is, so we have an option to generate such file and send it to the downstreams directly. There are very rare scenarios where if client is expecting something else other than what Stibo supports, only in such cases we need ETL tools, otherwise it is not required. Yeah, but yeah, purely based on client requirements, but Stibos has very advanced plugins where it doesn't require the ETL tools in
Okay,
general.
okay, got it, got it. So if we talk about on-premises part of Stivo MDM, so do we need any database in backend for installation? If it needed, then what kind of databases it supports?
So in general, the very good thing in Stibo is we don't deal with the database at all. So no one even need a database knowledge or SQL knowledge for this. So it's all virtual database. So we don't have access to the any database even for the installation. So on-prem, it's so you can say Oracle database for the on-prem one, but that is just for the installation, but in real time we are not going to deal any of the SQL or databases.
So if we talk about storing the metadata of our Stivo MDM objects, like whatever object we are creating as part of development within the Stivo Workbench, if we would like to see that metadata from backend from some table, so do we have option or how we can see
No,
that?
no, we cannot see any such. We don't have any such option. So it's all in the step itself. If you want to see any data, So you have to export and see it, or else you can integrate step with some any of the database. Okay, you can say AWS tables or any other table databases, and you can move all the data from step to there, and you can use the tables. But yeah, there is no such options called backend where you can go and query the tables and see the data, because step itself has a raw data, right? So you can directly have option to view on export, and you can view it in any of the Excel or any other formats.
Okay, thanks, Rahul. And one more question, which is very specific to the job change and all. So, if we talk about current trend, there are multiple MDM tools in the market, right? One of them,
Mm-hmm.
Informatica, is also leading in the market.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you talk about the Stibo, how is the demand and supply in the market for resources, and what are the average package we expect as compared to the other MDM tools and all?
So Stibo has a very huge demand. So you can say it's a niche skill set. So, and it is also not a open source. So it's very hard to find the Stibo resources with the right knowledge. Okay. The advantage with our training classes is we provide the hands-on as well. Okay. And with that, they'll get hands-on as well as a good practical knowledge. If I talk about the demand, it's very huge. And it's a very huge demand for the Stibo jobs because resources are less, and jobs are plenty. And in the future, you can expect a lot many jobs in the next 2 years, and also it is for a long run. And why? Because most of the clients, in a retail or food manufacturing industries or textiles are moving to the Stibo because it's very much user friendly. And you can say, when I say need skill set, the packages are offered bit high compared to other applications. Let's say if you're having 2 to 3 years of experience, so you can expect the package between 12 to 16 with the 3 years of experience. So likewise, yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good package. Yeah. So, means what is the minimum experience people should have to get the job into this in the Stivo? So, suppose I think
two
after our
years
training, yeah, two
two
years.
two years you can say. Let's say the Infosys is currently hiring in a bulk, so they want Stibo people, but there is resources are not available at the moment, so they're struggling a lot to finding Stibo resources just with a minimum 2 years experience. Yeah.
Okay, okay, got it. I think that's enough for us. And if
Yeah.
a student will have any questions, so that they can reach out to our training coordinator. They will help out with questions. And yeah, we will also have
Sure.
regular demo classes. So where the students can join the live demo classes. They can ask the more questions over there. So thanks,
Okay.
Rahul. Thanks for this demo
Yeah.
session. Let's stop it
Yeah.
here.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Sujit. Looking
Yeah,
forward
thank you.
to working with these students who can help them with their jobs.
Yeah, sure, Rahul. Sure. Thank you for a beautiful demo session.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Sujit.